Hey, it's Benita here. Have you ever made a decision and later thought, why did I do that? Well, you're not alone. Trauma doesn't just affect our emotions. It can hijack your thinking and it hijacks your decision making. So it's kind of like quite sneaky, but it's very, very powerful. So today I'm going to show you how it does that. So it isn't just something that affects a few people. This actually affects a lot of people who have experienced trauma. But most people don't realize that trauma actually hijacks your ability to make really good decisions. I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to break it down and tell you exactly how trauma affects your brain and why you might feel stuck, impulsive, indecisive, and most importantly, what you can do about it. Whether it's in your relationships, whether it's your work, your health perhaps, your confidence even, your trauma history might be secretively driving your decision making, and it's time to take the wheel back. My apologies. There we go. We're good. So what happens in the first place? When your brain panics and takes over, it's called amygdala hijack. And this is where you're triggered and your emotional brain or your amygdala takes over and it shuts down your thinking brain, the prefrontal cortex. And it's called, well, we term it as amygdala hijack. And what happens is you've just stopped thinking clearly. You act really fast and become reactive. Then the reactivity creates emotionality. And then you say or do things that you regret later. And a really good example is when your partner or someone says, we need to talk. Before you know it, your heart's racing, you're catastrophizing, you're pulling away, you're blowing up. That's not poor judgment. That's your trauma brain trying to protect you. So how does memory loss and brain fog make decisions so much harder for us? If you're experiencing trauma, your memory may be foggy, it may be fragmented, it may be blocked. And what happens is you forget details. You second guess yourself. You feel unsure of what's real or what's not. And if your brain can't remember your past experiences, which is generally behind you, how can you use that to make decisions? Well, you can't. You'll do things like, I don't trust myself. Oh, that's my trauma talking. That's not my truth. So you are actually reacting from the past, not your present. So when your brain is wired by trauma, your poor nervous system is scanning for danger, and it's scanning 24/7, even when you are safe. So that means that you say the wrong thing when you don't mean to. Number 2, you avoid hard conversations. Number 3, you self-sabotage. And number 4, you overthink or go into freeze mode. All of this is survival decision making, and it's not where we need to be. But how can we learn to take back that wheel of control? How do we stop trauma driving your decisions? Well, first of all, pause before you react. Give your brain time to catch up. I always like to say, let your body have the first word, which is breathe. And then it gives you time to think before you react. Breath work is very important. And naming what you're feeling calms the amygdala down enough to give this a bit of space to allow you to think about what you say. So you stop the reactivity. Write down options. So what can I do here? And this is hard because you have to take yourself out of this trauma space and physically put what's here and here onto paper. But what it does is it unloads the pressure from the brain, which means you make better decisions. And talk to someone you trust, not necessarily a friend or a work colleague. Go to someone that can really help you, that isn't emotionally involved in the decision. Sometimes friends think they're helping you, and they try to have your best interests at heart, but it's really what you really need. And get a toolkit to rewire your reactions. In our trauma recovery method program, we use the shift method. It's a proven tool-based technique to help people to move through their trauma. But what do the experts say about dealing with decision making? So first of all, trauma makes us more reactive and fearful, which messes with our ability to clearly think. We know that it's fact. We also feel triggered, which slows us down, and we really can't make decisions straight away. So implementing a strategy is super important if you know that decision making is hard, if you know you're coming from a trauma background. And in particular, childhood or young adult trauma can change categorically how our decisions are made or our decision-making process over the long term. Even though things like trust, planning, and risk are low, or you know you can trust someone, it will deter us from being able to make the right decisions. So trauma changes the way your brain makes decisions through memory issues, hijacking emotions, fear responses. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to learn how to reset your brain and to take your power back. And with awareness, with simple tools, with support, you can make clear, confident decisions again. But it's not easy to do this by yourself. Inside our trauma recovery method program, we don't just help you cope, we help you completely and utterly reset the way you think, feel, react, behave, and act. So if you struggle with your gut health, we have our food and we have our we have our food coach Kerry, but we also have our confidence and our emotional coach Megan that helps you build your confidence again. We help you to get rid of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that keep you stuck in your trauma program, in your trauma reprogramming. So if you need a structure, if you need a toolkit, if you need a strategy to heal, come and speak to us, book a consultation with us, and hopefully I'll catch you soon. Bye.